Well, all right. Here we are, November the 13th. Missed the last couple of days. Sorry about that. I was out of town. Me and my family went down to a little bit south of Atlanta and visited my daughter and her husband. And it was a pretty good trip. So sorry I missed the weekend. Normally I would have tried to say something, especially on November 10th, which is the Marine Corps birthday. You know, for all of you that may be Marines or that used to be, or I know once a Marine, always a Marine, but maybe you formerly was, happy birthday, Jarheads. And of course, we missed Veterans Day together, and my apologies for that. And thank you to all the veterans out there. I myself am a veteran, and that's why I know the Marine Corps birthday. I was a Marine. Thank you, veterans, for the service that you've done our country. If you're an active military, thank you for serving now. For helping to keep our freedoms and helping keep us free. If you're not a veteran, thank a vet. They put their life on the line, whether they knew it or not, because we could always be called up at any time. And I appreciate all of you and for the service that you've done our country. So I went to Atlanta this weekend. We'd went to the zoo, not the zoo. We'd went to the aquarium, and there's a big aquarium in Atlanta, Georgia. If you've never been, go if you like crowds. It's definitely pretty packed. People everywhere, and something happened there, and well, several somethings, I guess. But it brought to my attention really how disrespectful a lot of people are in this day and age. And I'm not going to try to get into any cultural wars or generation gap wars or anything else, but the disrespect that I saw so many people give to children, to elderly folks, to just people in general is just, astronomically amazing to me. I've got well, I guess I haven't told y'all before, but I've got 5 children. My youngest is almost 2 and my oldest is 20. And of course, I've got 2 other teenagers, and I've got a little girl that's almost 4. And I love my kids, and every time we've ever taken on any of our kids anywhere, I've wanted to be able to share with them how great, there are, how great of things there are for us to do in this country, and to be able to go places and the museums and aquariums and all kinds of other things. And I want everybody to be able to go and to enjoy these things and to see beautiful things. And especially I'm more into history things. Like I love going to the Arch in St. Louis and going into the museum that's underneath it. It's always been one of my favorite times. I love that. It's a great museum. If you've never been, I encourage you to go. But beside the point, there were several times that not only myself, but I'd see these other parents that had little children, and we'd be standing there waiting for people to move so we could get our children up by the glass so they could see closer, whether it was, the otters or the beluga whales or the sharks or whatever it was, because they've got this big, huge tank that has all kinds of stuff in it. It's like 13 different windows that you can walk around and see. And some windows are higher up and some are like floor to ceiling pretty much almost. And, just depending on where you can get in to see. And so we just kept walking around and trying to get these, get to a window where it's not completely crowded. And people were jumping in front of these little kids like they weren't even there. And I'm not talking about, other little kids. I'm talking about adults that should have known better. You could see these parents or these children sitting there awaiting their turn patiently and trying to teach their kids to be patient and telling them, hey, just a minute, it's almost our turn. And they just jump in front of them like they didn't exist. Like they weren't even there. Folks, that is so disrespectful. It is so, belligerent, really, that people think they're so entitled to jump in front of everybody and to try to be the first and to do whatever it is that they think they want to do with no thought or regard to other people. And folks, if you're one of those people that are that way, I truly feel sorry for you. You have no idea how much of life you're missing out on, because you're never going to know really what it is to be respected by other people, because you will automatically gain their ire every time. They will be irritated with you every time because of the way you act. And, people are like, well, you can't judge me. I'm not judging you. I'm looking at your actions and telling you what you're doing. Now, you can take that as being judged if you want. I don't really care. I'm not judging your intent. I'm not judging your heart. I'm not judging why you done it. What I'm saying is you're rude and that you shouldn't have done it. Now, if that bugs you, yeah, I don't care. I know people think that's blunt and oh, you're mean, but you can take it any way you want. I don't care. Again, I just don't. I'm not that kind of person. I don't wear my feelings on my sleeve, and I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to lose sleep about it if you get your little feelings hurt. Welcome to life. Grow up. Quit being rude. Quit being mean. Quit being disrespectful. Have a little honor about yourself. And I guess that's the reason I love to be a Marine, because it was an honor code. It was an honor system. You done something, you own up to it. If I come and pushed you out of the way and you said something to me, I'd say, yes, I did push you out of the way. I'm sorry, or whatever. Or, hey, I think I need to be here. Whatever the case was, or wasn't, or it will be, or will not be. I don't know. But it's just rudeness. I seen these poor people that were handicapped and they're in wheelchairs. The place was so packed and nobody would give these people room to get to the ramps to where they could get to the exhibits, that I saw multiple people in wheelchairs sitting over in corners by themselves and their family off enjoying the museum because nobody would give them room to get by. How sad is that? I don't get that. Why? Because we're so entitled, we don't want to move over and just let people by. We don't want to wait our turn behind somebody in a wheelchair because they have a disability, so we want to run around them and make them feel bad because, oh, well, you're slowing up the line. If you're in that big of a hurry, don't go to a place that's going to be packed. Don't. I mean, it's pretty much that simple. Don't go. But no one seems to care about that anymore. We live in a generation of people that just don't seem to care about others. Folks, teach your children to put others first. Teach them to be respectful, to be kind, to be servants of all, to be able to serve the people around them. So many people, they don't want to be a servant because they don't understand what it means. Why would we not offer our services to other people when you see an elderly person struggling to put something in the car, but we won't even offer to help them and pick it up? Yeah, they might not want your help, but it's the fact that you offer. And then they go home and they're like, I was struggling to pick up that bag of dog food, and this fella come by and offered to pick it up for me. Man, that was super nice. Especially if you have young people that do it. I've tried to raise my kids to be very respectful people and to be considerate people. And every time we've ever been in a restaurant, we've never had people complain about our children. There's been multiple times we've had people come up to me and my wife and say, your kids are so well behaved. Which all of my kids have grown up in the age of technology, and yet we don't give them cell phones until they have a license. Why? Because it's a distraction. They lose touch of what reality is. They lose touch of what everything else is. They lose touch of being in a family because they'd rather come straight home from school and play on their phone instead of spending time with their family, instead of being around that table for supper, instead of studying together, instead of learning together, instead of growing together, instead of going places together. That's what they learn, is I always want to be on my phone. We've never given them tablets for them to play with as children. Why? You get these little kids, and I've seen them, man, them and their parents in the middle of a restaurant or in the middle of a store, and these kids are absolutely going ballistic because they're not getting what they want right now. And what they want is that electronic. They want something to play with. I got to sit here and eat my cereal while I tap on a tablet. I can't sit in a cart or a buggy, depending on where you're from, in a store, because I need something to entertain me. Folks, our life shouldn't be about entertainment. It should be about other things. I'm all about being entertained too, but I'm not going to be trying to entertain my children 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They have to learn some kind of responsibility. They have to learn what it means to grow. They have to learn what it means to be quiet when it's time to be quiet. And they have to learn what it means to be respectful when it's time to be respectful, and to be honorable when it's time to be honorable, and to be that person that is a servant and that does do for other people. You do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. And I know that's an old biblical saying from Matthew 7:12, and maybe you don't like the Bible. That doesn't matter to me, folks. I hope everybody loves Jesus, but everybody don't have to. That's your choice. But that adage still holds true. You want people to be respectful to you, be respectful to them. You know, I've trained and taught my children that you be respectful and kind to others, not because they were kind to you first. You do it first. And you don't do it for their benefit. You do it for your own. You do it for them, or you do it for you, because that's the way you want other people to treat you. And that's just the way you do things. And some people can understand that, and some people can't. Some people can accept that, and some people can't. And that's a sad, sad state of affairs that we live in, that most people do not want to be respectful. They do not want to be polite. They do not want to be nice. You know, I see so many grown men now that they're like, well, I'm not holding a door open for a lady because they're going to think I'm simping. Well, first off, I don't really care for that word. You know, we're taking away the fact of just being a gentleman. You know, I can open a door for a woman and not expect anything in return. I think most men can too. And if a woman can't handle that fact, that's her fault. That's not your fault. You be a man. You be a gentleman. You be what it means to be a man. You be the man that you want your boys to be. And if you want your boys to be belligerent and trashy, then teach them that. If you want them to grow up to be honorable and respectable people, teach them that. You know, what we teach them is what they're going to do. It's what they're going to mimic. It's what they're going to become. They're always going to look at us as role models. Are you a role model for them? I hope that you are. And if you're not, why not? Are we going to be able to do the things that we need to do every day, day in, day out, to raise our children to be the best men that they can be, the best women that they can be? Because every one of them is going to take a cue from us. They're going to look at us, and they're going to want to know what it is that we do. You know, I get so many people that they wonder why me and my wife started over with 2 more little children. Yeah, all 5 of my children from the same one, believe it or not. You know, I've never been divorced. You know, I dated my wife for 5 years or a little bit more before we wed, and we've been together ever since. Like I said, my oldest is 20, and we were married when we had her. We tried to do everything the best we could to teach our children what it means to be respectful of your wife and respectful of your husband, and to have a good solid marriage and a good solid relationship. And you know, one day we'll talk about that a little bit, but it's not going to be today. You know, because today I want you just to think about this, and I know we're running a little long, so I'm going to wrap it up. How much respect do you show other people in front of your children? How much respect do you show your children? You know, people seem to think that that's weird, but why? Why is it weird? You know, to be respectful to everybody, to be kind, considerate, to be polite, you know, whatever words you want to use to kind of round out the thing. You know, do you show them what it means to be honorable people? Do you show them what it means to serve those around them? To be able to knock on a neighbor's door when there's, you know, 6 feet of snow outside and be like, you know, you want me to go ahead and shovel your driveway because I'm shoveling mine. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with teaching them that work ethic of how to serve other people, not because they're getting paid to do it, but just because it's the right thing to do. Folks, we've got to get back to a generation of people that want to just do things because it's the right thing to do, not because of some kind of monetary gain or what's in it for us. Giving to other people will always benefit you more than them, because you will know you've done something for somebody else, not for greed and not for another paycheck, but just because you have a heart big enough to do it because it needs done. Friends, I want you to think about that. As always, I'm O Red. Till next time, I'll see you then.